Hi, I'm Susanna Bowling, and this is T2C Live at the Lambs. Today's guest, you know him most from playing Frankie Valli and the Jersey Boys, from being on tour with the Midtown Men, and now Michael Longoria has a new album coming out October 11th. Let's talk to Michael Longoria. Michael, what is your album about?
Well, my album is called Like They Do in the Movies, and it's I'm taking on all my favorite movie classics, you know, all of those cinematic favorites that made you fall in love with the movies.
What is your favorite movie of all time?
Oh, such a great, I mean, I have to say, the one that made me fall in love with music and movies at the same time was The Bodyguard. You know, seeing Kevin Costner, Whitney Houston fall in love, and all those beautiful songs that were written for that movie. And I actually recorded I Will Always Love You, which Dolly Parton wrote, but Whitney Houston gave new life to for that movie. And a lot of these movies songs, they kind of take on all the emotion of the whole journey of that film, and they capture it all in that 3-minute melody. And I kind of wanted to make a product that would be that, like make you reminiscent of those beautiful times of seeing those movies for the first time, but also kind of rediscover the lyrics and songs that brought those stories to life.
Is this your first album?
This is my third one, actually. My third album with Broadway Records, and my first one was Broadway Brick by Brick, which is all Broadway classics. The second one I did last Christmas, which is Merry Christmas, Darling. So this one is my movie anthems.
Now you're doing an album release party.
Yeah, so on October 10th at 9:30, Green Room 42, my first time ever doing a concert there. I've seen a lot of concerts there before, but my first time doing it. I'm going to be debuting all of these songs from my album the day before it gets released. So it'll be like a really cool celebration with a great band and some backup singers singing their hearts out with me. All of these beautiful songs from the movies that you love.
Will you be able to sell the album after the concert?
Yeah, you'll be able to get some early copies there, but you could also pre-order it on iTunes today, actually, and you can download my original song that I wrote for the album. It's called Kiss Me, Like They Do in the Movies. And that song, I wrote it to kind of capture that magic of what you feel when you go to a movie with a lover, and you know you're kind of watching the movie, but the whole time you're kind of reaching over to see if you can hold that hand for the first time, and then by the end of the movie you're hoping for that romantic kiss at the end, and I kind of wanted to capture that idea, like can you really feel that love within one kiss? When I was in Hairspray on Broadway, I was a swing for all the ensemble parts. So a lot of times I'd be on stage, but sometimes I wouldn't be. So any times that I wasn't on Broadway, like doing the show, I would be in the 5th floor in the swing room, and I'd be teaching myself how to play guitar, writing songs, and kind of exploring, my artistic side outside of a Broadway musical. And that was kind of a blessing that Hairspray gave to me. My Broadway debut, getting thrown on stage in all these different parts and testing my brain in that way, and then also giving me those moments where I had to be in a theater and be inspired by theater but not be on stage. So I had to do something with myself, and in that doing something with myself, I taught myself how to write and how to just explore my inner thoughts and melody.
Lead us a little bit through your career, because I knew that you did Jersey Boys and I knew that you did Midtown Men, but I'm sure there's more to you than that.
Sure. Well, I'm from Los Angeles, California. I went to the High School for the Arts, where I studied singing, and I got a scholarship to go to NYU. So that's why I came out to New York. And Tisch School of the Arts kind of gave me this beautiful gift of being in New York City without having to be in New York City. I was a student and learning from the best teachers, real actors that were on stage at night and coming to teach during the daytime. And that kind of gave me the real taste for what a real New York actor life would be. And I wasn't discouraged. I probably should have been, but I wasn't. And that led me to being a singing waiter at Ellen's Stardust Diner over on 51st and Broadway. And I always knew that someday there was going to be an opportunity, and lucky for me, a block away, there was a show called Hairspray, all about young kids in the 60s. I went in there and I got into that swing part. But the best part of the story is that across the street from Hairspray, at the August Wilson, was a new show that was about to open called Jersey Boys. And I heard they were looking for short Italian tenors. Now, I'm not Italian, but I'm short, and I kind of could look Italian. So I called up the casting directors, and I somehow found my way into the audition, and then I got Jersey Boys. So that kind
And
of
it became the massive hit.
and it became a massive hit. And nobody knew it was going to be this huge success. They were giving away tickets during previews.
Really?
And yeah, people were like, "Hey, the show by Frankie Valli," and people were like, I forget what other shows were playing at the time, but eventually during previews, word of mouth. It was the first time I ever saw that. Word of mouth boosted the show. This show was on Katie Couric. And after that, all the box office went crazy, and then all of a sudden, all of our houses were full. So I got to really learn what that journey was like, originating a part, and then taking over the starring role later when I took over for Frankie Valli.
What did you do after that?
So after that, I kept getting asked to sing for galas and different events to raise money with the guys from Jersey Boys, and the four of us decided, why don't we get together and put a show together for these different events, and we did. It was all music of the 60s. We took on the Beatles, the Beach Boys, Mamas and Papas, and of course we did Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. And that kind of catapulted us into this world of concert singing, and we've been doing it for 10 years. We've been on the road for 10 years as ourselves, as the Midtown Men in concert.
Wow.
Yeah, which has been giving me the license to go out and do my own music. That's why I've been able to do these albums on my own.
Have you had a chance to foray into film and TV?
Not yet, but that would be the next thing to conquer. I've been conquering the concert scene this time, and now I'm doing the recording scene with these albums. And my whole goal with all of this is to just kind of put my heart on a timestamp in the recording, and my voice and everything that I've gone through, because your voice is a complete representation of your journey.
Absolutely.
And the positive and the negative, and the pain and the joy, and to be able to put that down on songs that people know, but from my journey, that's been a really important thing for me to want to do. And having it time-stamped in these different albums for myself over the past 4 years has been a great gift that Broadway Records has given to me, and that the fans of Jersey Boys have given to me to want to continue to hear me sing.
That leads me to my favorite question of life. They say that eyes are the windows of the soul.
Yeah.
But I believe songs are.
Oh yeah.
So what song or series of songs describes who Michael is?
Oh wow. I have to tell you, I gravitate towards heart-wrenching, painful, it's love ain't easy songs, and I realized that through these different recordings, a lot of them are kind of upbeat, band-wise, but the lyrics are so devastating. The song that inspired Like They Do in the Movies, the album, I was recording my Christmas album, and a song on it I wanted to do was called It Must Have Been Love, but it's over now. It's a song that's on the Pretty Woman soundtrack.
Right.
And a little trivia, it was originally a Christmas song, and they changed it by changing one word, and the part of the song was it's a hard Christmas day, I dream away, and all they did was change it to, and it's a hard winter's day. Just they changed the word so that it could go on Pretty Woman, and it wouldn't necessarily mean it was a Christmas song.
Right.
And that kind of fascinated me, to be like, oh wow, so one lyric changed this Christmas breakup song into just like a generic breakup song. And I kind of fell in love with that song and just kind of got fascinated with breaking up on Christmas, or that kind of tragic and joy mixed into one, and it was kind of all wrapped into that song, in that melody. So that kind of pushed me into the movies. I said, why don't I start with this song, It Must Have Been Love? What does that mean, and discover what other movie songs like that do, like I Will Always Love You.
Right.
It's a beautiful love song. You're giving your all to that person, but you're also giving them away.
What song are you looking forward to the most for the audience to discover?
Well, I wrote a song for this album, and it's called Kiss Me Like They Do in the Movies, as I mentioned. And, you said melodies and songs are the window to the soul, and that's so true, especially with the songwriter. And with my songwriting, I've tried to do fake songs where I'm like, I'm just going to write a song about something, generic, and that never pans out. And anytime I write something about reality, something that I'm really going through, then it soars and goes right out of my brain into the page and onto the recording scene. And with this song, it's really from the depths of my heart, my experience, and it's a breakup song, but it sounds like a beautiful, like fun song. But the reality is, in the joy of loving someone, a lot of times there is heartbreak, and you have to be willing to face that in order to love them. And that's kind of what that song is about, and I kind of want the audience to discover that song.
Is there a role on Broadway or a show that you would like to do that you haven't had a chance to do?
You know, I've always, every time Pippin comes around, I want to do Pippin, you know, leading player or Pippin, either one, you know, like I juggle between the two roles. That, like as a classic musical, that's what I would love to do at some point in life. But I think my future in musical theater is going to be somebody writing me a part or me writing it for myself.
Right.
Just because all these journeys, all these people in the world, we're so diverse. And it really takes somebody who knows my story to really tell my story. And I kind of feel like maybe I'm the person to do that.
Is there a songwriter or songwriting team that you'd like to work with?
You know, I'm a big fan of Katy Perry's music. I like pop songs.
Okay.
But I like pop songs where there's a huge storyline. You know, a lot of times pop songs can just be jingles and you just kind of know what the hook is. But every now and then you get snuck in with this really cool story. Taylor Swift is a great example of that. You know, her songwriting, you hear on the radio every day and you kind of just bop to her and you don't always listen to the words. But when you really listen to the words, you're like, oh wow, she's talking about something really serious and about something that we all go through. So I mean, if Taylor Swift is out there, she wants to write me a song or write with me, I would love that. That would be a dream. And
your album is released on the 11th, but your show is on the 10th?
Yes, the show's on the 10th at Green Room 42.
What time?
At 9:30 p.m. And you can also download my song, Kiss Me, like they do in the movies, today on iTunes. And you can listen to it on Apple Music. And you can also pre-order the album today.
You heard it here on T2C at the Lambs.